Some of you might have seen and enjoyed my trio videos over the past year. Those are a lot of fun to come up with. Give me some time alone in a room with a camera and I can amuse myself no end. One kind, thoughtful comment about one trio cover song got me thinking. Your narcissism knows no bounds. Now, that's an interesting topic. Is there a link between creativity and narcissism? And no, this isn't the first time I've been called narcissistic. However, are creatives and maybe musicians in particular narcissists? As always, I have tried to do my research, but I am new to this topic, so check out my bibliography in the comments below. And of course, thank you to my trusty friend, Wikipedia. In Greek mythology, Narcissus was a hunter blessed with exceptional beauty. He spurns the romantic advances of the nymph Echo and is punished by the gods for his arrogance. They make him fall in love with his own reflection as he gazes into a pool of water. He eventually dies from unrequited love. So narcissism is a personality style characterized by an excessive need for attention and admiration, an exaggerated sense of self-importance and self-absorption. Sound familiar? Many musicians pick up that guitar or microphone because they harbour fantasies of global success and critical adoration. And having the confidence to put work out into the world suggests that you believe you have something worth saying, something unique or insightful. Consider the phrase, blowing your own trumpet. Performing on stage suggests you enjoy attention, the thrill of eyes on you, and that you have the self-confidence to command a crowd. Not all musicians are narcissists, of course, but some do appear to have developed quite the god complex. Billy Corgan, Bono, Michael Jackson, never more so than in Earth Song. The exception, of course, is Lemmy, who, as we all know, actually is God. Narcissism is measured with a test called the Narcissistic Personality Inventory, where users choose between 40 pairs of statements like, when people compliment me, I sometimes get embarrassed, versus, I know that I am good because everybody keeps telling me so. Or, people sometimes believe what I tell them, versus, I can make anybody believe anything I want them to. A higher score indicates greater levels of narcissism. In its extreme form, it can manifest as a mental illness, narcissistic personality disorder, NPD. Patients with NPD are hypersensitive to criticism, possess an intense need for admiration and validation, and have an impaired ability to recognize facial expressions and a compromised ability to regulate their emotions, among other traits. They often suffer from a sense of deep shame and insecurity, which they mask through exaggerating their own importance and criticizing those who question their talents, much like people who post on Reddit. The American Psychiatric Association says many highly successful individuals display personality traits that might be considered narcissistic. Only when these traits are inflexible, maladaptive, and persisting and cause significant functional impairment or subjective distress do they constitute narcissistic personality disorder. A high regard for one's own talents and an excessive need for attention sounds like the perfect recipe for being a performer. Creativity is a complex construct, a mix of an openness to risk-taking, divergent thinking, emotional expression, adaptability, and collaboration. There's a social aspect too. There's definitely crossover, although empathy, the ability to recognize and sympathize with the feelings of another, which is missing from narcissistic personalities, is one of creativity's key ingredients. Narcissists are often charismatic, enthusiastic, and energetic, all traits that are closely associated with a creative personality. But there's a fine line between healthy self-esteem and self-confidence in your work and being self-absorbed and attention-seeking for its own sake. Pablo Picasso once said, God is really an artist like me. I am God, I am God, I am God. John Lennon famously said the Beatles were more popular than Jesus. In 1997, Noel Gallagher claimed Oasis were bigger than God, causing Mel C to respond saying, if Oasis are bigger than God, then what does that make the Spice Girls? Bigger than Buddha? Because we are a darn sight bigger than Oasis. Kanye West released a track called I Am a God on his Yeezus album. I am a god, so hurry up with my damn massage in a French-ass restaurant. Hurry up with my damn croissants. He also said, my greatest pain in life is that I'll never be able to see myself perform live. Same here, Kanye. Same here. Talking of live performances, why not catch me on tour? A link to tickets is in the description below. Dr. Nathan DeWall, a professor of psychology at the University of Kentucky, analysed 3 decades of pop hits between 1980 and 2007 and found narcissism is on the rise in lyrics as well as themes of loneliness and depression. He decided to study lyrics because they act as a mirror of cultural changes in personality traits and motivations and emotions. He found that over time, there's been an increasing focus on me and my in lyrics instead of we and our and us, as well as a rise in angry, negative emotions rather than positive. This ties in with general societal change from the hippie collective peace and love generation to the me, selfie generation. Now, it's important to take lyrics with a pinch of salt. Many are just tongue-in-cheek rather than a statement to be taken at face value. And likewise, we should also consider the fact that many entertainers' public personas are just that, a persona, a psychological suit of armour that they wear that can be quite different from their behaviour in private. Many musicians are actually quite shy and find performing an excruciating necessity to make ends meet rather than living for the stage. Nick Drake is a good example of this. He found performing so difficult to get through that he stopped playing live altogether. But are displays of narcissism an inevitable byproduct of possessing creative talents? Or do narcissists just think that they're more creative than others and proudly shout about it more? Studies show that if ideas are pitched enthusiastically by a person with great charisma, they're often perceived as being more creative and original than they actually are. And in a group setting, narcissists can actually have a beneficial effect on the creative process because they are more forthright with contributing their ideas and less patient or polite while others are expressing theirs, often jumping back in with the responses and therefore increasing the total number of ideas. This works up to a point until the ideas have to be put into practice. So if you're in a band, it actually might be useful to have a narcissist in the mix, although, let's be honest, you probably do already. So what's the takeaway? Art is very subjective, and if the audience's perception of it can be swayed by charismatic presentation, then you should bear that in mind while performing. A little bit of faking it until you make it never hurt anyone. You can have the most wonderful songs, but if you're not packaging them right, then you might suffer compared to those who give it that extra razzle-dazzle. And maybe next time you start writing a song, use we rather than I. I'm definitely going to start giving that a try. So thank you so much for watching. I would love to know what you think in the comments. I will be performing songs from my debut album, Super Sexy Heartbreak, live from September 2024. Check out the tour dates in the description below. But otherwise, I'll be seeing you here again for some very, very self-involved content. Enjoy.